Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Hey doctors, what I want to talk about today is playing the personal injury game in a way that no one loses. Playing the personal injury game in a way that no one loses. I know that's a kind of a foreign concept because most of the time when you play a game, there's a winner and there's a loser. And so too often today, I think people think like that in the personal injury space. And what it leads them into, the symptom where I know that's true is it leads them into, wow, they're way heavy as a patient advocate. So they're like a bleeding heart patient advocate, and they just, talk everything about the patient and how it's changed their life and everything else. Okay, if you're over in that area, then you're not going to provide the win-win solution. Or I know doctors that are very plaintiff attorney oriented. They're heavily into trying to overplay the plaintiff attorney. And that's not a win-win situation because it's a lose situation for the insurer. Or there's some that are, very heavy into the insurance. And again, that's not a winning area. So what do I mean when I say playing the personal injury game so there's a win-win-win? And it's very, very easy. Again, it comes back to results. What do the players in the personal injury space want? You got an injured patient. What does the patient want? They want results. They want fast, effective, quick, cost-effective treatment, and they don't want to suffer long-term. All right, great. That's a win scenario for the patient. What does that do for the personal injury attorney? Well, that has them win because they can settle cases faster, and they can get great results, and they can actually have patients that love their services. Oh my gosh, I came in, I went to the doctor. I did very good on my recovery. I'm very happy with my settlement. Everything's good. What does that do for the insurer? It's exactly what the insurer wants. What the insurer wants to have there be what? They want to have a full recovery. They want all the injuries diagnosed. They want great treatment results so that you minimize the patient's long-term care needs. The better the results, the less the long-term care benefit needs. So the insurer wins. So it's a win-win-win scenario for everybody involved. And if you start looking at it that way, then you start to become not an advocate for anything other than great clinical skills and great patient results. That is the way that you provide a win-win-win scenario in the personal injury market. Now, when you do that, the beautiful thing about that, and that should be the long-term goal. The long-term goal is you should understand the injuries. If you're talking about spinal injuries, there's 3 of them. If you don't understand, there's fracture, there's disc herniation, and there's non-disc ligament damage or spinal support injury damage. There's only 2 tissues to a spine. So there's just bone and connective tissue. So the spinal workups are really easy. Standardizing spinal workups is a thing that we are pushing, and that the doctors in our Smart Injury Doctors program are helping us to standardize spinal injury workups in the spinal injury market. So the first key thing is you have to understand, in order to get the wins, in order to get the results, you have to understand the injuries. In order to document well, you have to understand the injuries. In order to communicate well to the patient, you got to understand the injuries. In order to help the patient understand what they can do to help themselves recover, you got to understand the injuries. In order to help the chronic pain patient, you got to understand what causes the chronic pain patient to be chronic in the first place, which is a spinal injury. You got to look back. If you're a chiropractor, 1915 technique book said subluxations are caused by trauma. They're not caused by anything else. They're caused by trauma. They're caused by the body in contact with its physical universe. That's what causes them. Right? So that is understanding the injuries is key. When you understand the injuries, you understand the documentation. When you understand the injuries, you understand what to communicate to a patient. 2 forms of treatment whenever you're treating any condition. And that form of treatment is 1, the physical application of a spinal adjustment, a laser, a soft wave, a ultrasound, whatever you're applying to the human body, nutrition, exercise, rehabilitation, strengthening, decompression, traction, whatever you're applying to the human body, all right, that's the application of it. And you're going to do the application of it, but all the other side of it is also education of the patient. Educate the patient on their condition. I've said in other podcasts, if you take a diabetic, there's two forms of treatment. One is showing them how to inject themselves with insulin into the stomach. Hey, here's 20 milliliters or whatever it is. Pull it, draw it right up, see how you mark it right here. Yes, good. Stick the needle in your stomach and push it in. All right, that's how you're going to treat yourself. Grab a piece of fat, grab a piece of skin, push it in. You're going to treat yourself. Good, that's one side of treatment. The other side is educate them on the condition itself so they can understand what they should do dietarily, what they should do exercise, what they should do for weight loss, what they should do for sleep, what they should do for supplementation. So they understand their condition so they can improve it themselves. So that's the two forms of treatment. But when you do all of this, what you're doing is you're providing a win-win-win scenario. Let's take another win scenario that can be added in the personal injury space. Let's take it in the work comp space. If I'm in the work comp space right now, I want to focus on my win-win-win for everybody involved is results. It's getting results. Getting good physical recovery results. Because then I can go to the HR person and say, look, this is a place where you should send people. Our primary focus is on results. Results mean fast, effective care with full recoveries as much as possible. Getting people back to work as quickly as possible. Getting people so that they have as little pain and suffering with their condition as quickly as possible. Figuring out what you have to do to maintain that as cost effectively as possible. Educating the patient on their own condition. That's what makes me very, very effective in the market. And I can go to insurers. I can go to unions. I can say, hey, look, if you're interested in results and you're interested in getting back to work quickly, you're interested in minimizing the long-term effects of the injury, we're your clinic. Right? Win, win, win. Who is that a win for? It's a win for the patient. It's a win for the employer. A win for the employer. It's a win for the insurer. It's a win for the insurer. Who loses in the scenario? There is no loss. There is no loss. I remember one time I was sitting in my clinic, and I know I probably said this before on previous podcasts, but I was sitting in my clinic writing a scathing report to State Farm or Allstate or somebody at the time, because they had an IME and it was negative against the patient and negative against the care and everything else. So I'm writing this scathing report, and I'm sitting there and I go, I'm doing this on a Sunday. I'm not, it's taking up my regular time. And, I'm writing a 10, 15 page in those days, rebuttals. And I was going, okay, so why am I so antagonistic to the insurer? What does the insurer want? The insurer wants exactly what I want. They want good evaluation and fast resolution, which is exactly what I wanted. So when I realized that, I realized it was 100% aligned with the insurer. I didn't need to win and they lose. I could provide a win scenario where I win and they win. And when I saw that, when that happened for me in my clinic on a Sunday, it changed my physical career. Because all of a sudden I realized, wow, I don't need to be an insurance advocate. I don't need to be an attorney advocate. I don't need to be a patient advocate. I need to be a clinical competency and clinical results advocate. And when I do that, then everybody in the market wins. I remember one time I did a big talk on spinal ligament injuries for a large defense firm in Michigan. And when I did the talk, when they first invited me, I thought, oh, wow, this is like Darth Vader. It's going to be special investigation unit, case managers, adjusters, and, people that traditionally I thought would be against me, against, what I was doing. We were pointing out injuries. An excessive motion testing company, we were pointing out significant injuries. So it kind of felt like Darth Vader was inviting Luke Skywalker to the party. And when I got there, I realized, no, it doesn't have anything to do with that. As a matter of fact, the people that are in the audience are all human beings, and 50% of them have some form of chronic pain. So I just started off the talk with, look, a lot of you are in chronic pain, and a lot of you, you have headaches, or you have neck pain, or you have low back pain. And if you do, you don't have to raise your hand. I know you're in the room. You don't have to raise your hand, but I'm going to be speaking directly to you, because what you have that's causing your problem is a ligament condition. And it's usually been undiagnosed. And if it's undiagnosed, it's actually, then how can you be working with somebody that understands your condition, and how can you get good results with that condition? So if you just pay attention to what I'm saying today, it'll help you out in the long run. And I sat there and helped. And it was a win-win scenario. There was no lose scenario to it. What did I promote? Good diagnostics, good treatment recovery results. Everyone in the room, it was probably one of the better talks I'd ever given at that point, because I had more interest in how do I find a doctor? How do I find help? Yes, I do have chronic. Yes, I do have chronic headaches. Yes, I do have chronic neck pain. Yes, I do have chronic low back pain. And I remember I think it was auto owner's insurance. Woman was over 22 states in special investigation unit, I believe. And she came up to me, and, it was kind of like the contrarian thing. She said, hey, doc, in Michigan, if I've got a patient that has $44,000 worth of chiropractic care, $40-some thousand worth of chiropractic care in 5 months, I think it was, or just an extreme amount of care in a very short amount of time. What do you think of that? I said, I don't know. What do you think of that? Sounds really extreme to me, but I think you have all kinds of tools. Don't you have all kinds of tools? You have fraud tools. You have IME tools. You have utilization review tools. You have all kinds of tools, right, to take care of that. But let me ask you a question. Do you believe there are good doctors in the market that get good results? She said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I said, then why do you treat them the same as the doctors that don't? And that's where they are practicing a lose-win or win-lose scenario. Whenever you practice that, it's not good. Okay, because if they rewarded good results, which I think the future in the spinal injury market, the best way to minimize injuries is to pay the providers that can get good clinical results. Good, stable clinical results with patients should be the highest paid doctors in the market today. And there should actually be services that promote patients to go to these doctors. The insurers themselves should come out and say, hey, here's a list, here's the results, we have all the stats. If you want to be disabled, you want long-term chronic pain, these are the clinics you need to go to. If you want resolution fast and you want a serious reduction in long-term chronic pain and you want a serious reduction in long-term disability, these are the clinics to go to. That's the way it should be in the future. So, one of the things that you want to do is you want to provide a win-win scenario, but the first thing it comes from is your own mindset. You have to start thinking with that. And when you do, your legs and your longevity in the injury space seriously increase. You sleep well at night. You position your marketing does better. Your marketing does well. You can't be attacked. If that's your scenario, and that's why I bring it up, provide that win-win-win scenario in the personal injury market. Doctors, if you're interested in the program that I deliver online for doctors called the Smart Injury Doctors, where we teach doctors to be, one, better diagnosticians so they understand the simplicity of the injuries of the spine and know how to work them up. They know how to get better results with them, and they know how to get and improve their documentation so they have a much easier time in the personal injury space. Give us a call, 800-940-6513. Find out more about us. Go to smartinjurydoctors.com. Find out more about us. If you want to, we have a free Facebook user group where we print out a lot of information in that Facebook user group called the Smart Injury Doctors Practice Building Success Network. Look us up. Join it. As always, I thank you very much for your time and your attention. I hope you got something from today's podcast, usually short, sweet, and to the point. I look forward to delivering more content to you in the future. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.